In this week's Torah portion, we start the new book of Dvarim, Deuteronomy. It's Moshe Rabbeinu's final speech. He's about to pass away. We are about to enter the land of milk and honey. And one of the first things that seems very apparent in this speech, Moses is basically telling us subtly and explicitly how much we've misbehaved. Moses tells us how much we have disappointed him and God time and again, and for good reason, by the way, educationally. But one can't help learning about all of these, our behavior in the desert. We're the chosen people, we haven't even started our job, and already we are completely failing. One can't help but ask, why us? Why were we chosen? What is all the more odd is that in part of his speech, when he recounts the whole story in the desert, we are told that before we enter the land, we can't go through the mountain of Seir, through the area that was given to Esau, our brother, Jacob's brother, because it is an inheritance given to Esau by God. Now a question arises, why is Moses mentioning here Esau? Esau, to remind you, has not been mentioned since the book of Genesis, way back then. Why is he suddenly appearing here? What's all the more weird or odd is that sages have taught us that there is no person who has respected their parents more than Esau. Esau is the archetypical Ubermensch. Really, not, cynically, he really is. And then we can't help but ask ourselves, if that's the case, when I read Esau's name here in Moses' final speech, while we're taught about our, misdeeds and misbehaving, not only why were we chosen, but why wasn't Esau chosen if he's such a mensch? In fact, there's a midrash that teaches us that Jacob, just before he was about to pass away, right, we know that he proved all of his children, especially Reuben, his firstborn, for misbehaving in their lives, not respecting their father. And the sages ask, why did Jacob wait until the end of his life? Had Jacob proven Reuben and the other brothers earlier on in life, they could have repented and, we would have had a different ending. And the sages answer that the reason Jacob waited was because he was afraid that had he proven his children, especially Reuben, earlier on, Reuben would have abandoned Jacob and moved to live with Esau. Now that's even more perplexing. That would have only been great. If Reuben would have left and lived with Esau, he would have learned what it means to respect one's parents. He would have come back and been a mensch. What's the problem? I think this is what's going on here, and I think why Moses is starting his speech like this, his final speech. There is another midrash that tells us why we were chosen, and it's a bit sad. The midrash, you all know it. God goes to all the nations, flogs them the Torah. No one's interested because there's some bit they don't like. We, the Israelites, are the only ones who say, Na'aseh v'nishma. We will, do and listen to everything you say. If you like, the only reason we are the chosen people is not because we are ubermensches. We are the chosen people simply because we are the only ones who accepted upon ourselves the burden of wanting to make the world a better place. Tikkun olam. Jacob was afraid of letting Reuben go to Esau because, yes, he would have become a mensch. The difference between Jacob and Esau, Jacob didn't reach Esau's menschlach. Right? Esau was a mensch, Jacob was not. But Jacob feared that if Reuben went to live with Esau, he would lose his will, that willpower, the calling to want to make the world a better place. There is nothing more powerful than the potential of that willpower. And that is what Jacob's afraid of. And I think that is what Moses is doing here at the beginning of his final speech. He's telling the Israelites, remember, you are not the chosen people, you are not special because of your DNA or because of your uniqueness. You are simply special because you accepted upon yourselves a calling, tikkun olam. However, you will only ever become or actualize that calling of yours when you start acting like the calling that you preach, when you start acting like a mensch, like Esau. I think that's what's going on here. And then we will be reunited together. Thoughts on Moses' final speech, why Esau is here, who is the chosen people, and why? Shabbat Shalom.